Ever wake up fearing failure like it's death? One mistake, one rejection, one missed shot, and most people throw in the towel, convinced it's over. But let me hit you with something real, something raw. Your brain doesn't get stronger by dodging pain. It gets forged in the fire of surviving it. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're designed to break and rebuild over and over until your mind turns into steel, unshakable and unyielding. Picture that for a second. A version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't run from the hard stuff. Stick with me for the next few minutes. Let's turn failure from your enemy into your greatest ally. Growth doesn't come from success, it's born in failure. Not the big Hollywood-style disasters that make for epic movie scripts, but the quiet, unglamorous kind. The workouts where you gas out halfway and collapse on the mat. The content you pour your heart into, only to see it get 0 clicks. The job application you spent hours on, sent off with hope and never got a reply. The skill you practice 50 times, 100 times and still can't get right. Those are the failures that build you. Not because they feel good, but because they force your brain to adapt. They stretch your tolerance for discomfort, toughen your skin against criticism, chip away at fear until all that's left is raw, unfiltered courage. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's the small defeats, the invisible setbacks, the private moments where you're alone with your thoughts wanting to quit but choosing to stay in the fight. That's the battlefield where your mental wiring changes. That's how discipline is installed, one failed rep, one missed note, one rejected pitch at a time. Because every time you fail and get back up, you're training your nervous system to whisper, I can take more than I thought. And the person who can take more, they don't just survive, they dominate. They go farther than anyone expected, including themselves. Here's why most people stay stuck. They tie their identity to outcomes. If they win, they feel worthy. If they fail, they feel useless, like a failure defines them. So what do? They stop trying. They cling to safety, only doing what already makes them feel good enough. They avoid challenges, dodge risks, and without realizing it, they start shrinking. Not physically, not overnight, but internally. Bit by bit, every time they say no to something that scares them, they reinforce a belief. I can't handle failure. And that belief becomes a prison, a trap disguised as comfort, slowly suffocating their potential. Have you felt that? That pit in your stomach after screwing up, that echo in your head saying, maybe I'm not cut out for this. You start questioning yourself, shrinking around others, lowering your goals. Not because you want less, but because you're terrified of falling again. But hear me loud and clear. That doesn't mean you're weak, it doesn't mean you're broken, it means you were trained wrong. Society drilled into you that failure's a disease, rejection's a scarlet letter, and safety's the ultimate prize. That's a lie. A comforting lie, but a lie nonetheless. Because in reality, failure is medicine. Yeah, it's bitter. It burns going down. It doesn't come with applause or likes. But it's the exact remedy you need to build calluses on your soul. Failure doesn't break you. It introduces you to the parts of yourself that comfort kept buried. You don't become confident by stacking wins. You become confident by getting knocked down, dusting yourself off and realizing I survived that. That's when your mindset shifts. That's when your wiring starts to change. When you stop asking, what if I fail, and start asking, what will I become if I don't quit? And that question, that's where real lasting growth begins. Let's talk about a man who turned failure into a legend. Sylvester Stallone. Before Rocky ever hit the screen, he was a broke actor sleeping in a bus station, so desperate he sold his dog for $25 just to eat. He got rejected by every agent in New York. They laughed at his slurred speech, his crooked mouth, his strange voice, and said, "You'll never make it." But he didn't quit. He wrote Rocky in 3 days, a story born from his own hunger, and went door to door trying to sell it. Everyone loved the script until he said, I have to star in it. They offered thousands, but he turned it down, still homeless, because he knew failure now meant strength later. Eventually, a studio gave in, paid him less, let him act, and the rest is history. Oscar wins, a lifelong legacy. His name synonymous with underdog power. But it all started with a man who was rejected, broke, embarrassed, and alone, failing daily and still pushing forward. That's the blueprint, failure as fuel. Here's how you rewire your mind. You stop fearing failure and start using it. Flip the entire relationship. Instead of dreading, what if I mess up? Ask, what will I learn if I do? Who will I become if I keep going? Because your brain doesn't grow in safety, doesn't evolve through perfection. It adapts when it's forced to. Just like your muscles tear under pressure before rebuilding stronger, your mind works the same way. Failure's the weight, repetition's the rep, pain's the burn, and discipline, that's the form. You practice under pressure. You don't become resilient by playing it safe. You become resilient by doing what scares you, falling at it and coming back sharper every single time. That's how you rewire everything. You stop labeling failure as the end and start seeing it as the entry point to something bigger. You realize each time you break, you're not falling behind. You're building tolerance for fear, for discomfort, for growth. Because if you only ever do what you're good at, you'll never discover what you're great at. Comfort lies to you, stay here, don't stretch, don't fall. But the truth? You have to fall to rise, you have to miss to aim better, you have to fail to upgrade. So let's build a mind that doesn't flinch when it fails. Train for it daily on purpose, make it your new ritual. Here's your step-by-step plan. Dare to lose. Do one thing every day you're likely to fail at. Send that cold email you've been avoiding. Try that heavy lift you're scared to attempt. Post that video you've overthought for weeks. Ask that question you dread hearing no to. Chase discomfort, don't dodge it. Track it, count your stumbles. 5 rejections? That's 5 bricks of mental armor. 3 misses? That's 3 sharp edges carved into your skill set. Don't count wins yet, count wounds. They're proof you're in the arena, not just watching from the crowd. If you don't track it, your brain forgets the battle and you'll think you're not progressing. You are. You're just measuring the wrong metric. Reflect fast. After each hit, study it, not emotionally, but logically. Ask, what broke? Why? What would I do differently? Keep it quick. No marathon journaling, just a single clear question. Without reflection, failure is just pain. With it, it becomes data, direction, discipline. Stay quiet. No announcements, no cheering section. Don't post your pain or seek validation. You're not doing this for applause, you're building your resistance in silence like a blacksmith forging a sword in a mountain cave. The hours, the repetition, the grind. No one sees it, and that's what makes it powerful. Fail forward with purpose. Every day you walk into the fire again, you're rewiring your nervous system. You're teaching your mind that failure isn't danger, it's fuel. Discomfort isn't panic, it's power. Most people fear the fall, but you fall forward with intention. And that's what separates the unbreakable from the average. You don't need more confidence, you need more attempts. You don't need more motivation, you need more failure. You don't rewire your mind by thinking different. You rewire it by doing different until failing feels normal, until discomfort feels like home. Here's your challenge. Fail daily, fail loudly, fail forward. Take action right now. Do something, anything. Drop "I failed, I got up" in the comments to prove you're in the fight. I know it's hard. I know you've heard this before. Maybe tried and fallen. That voice might whisper, "I can't keep doing this." Stop right there. You're wrong. The moment you tried, the moment you failed, that was proof you started. And if you started once, you can start again. Every great story begins with a broken first step. Yours is no different. Don't let failure convince you to stop. Let it prove you're in the fight. I'm not asking for perfection or fearlessness, just try again right now. You're stronger than you know. I'm rooting for you like your uncle would. You've got this.